nine times out of 10 because nobody goes through the middle of it. So we turned around there. But the funny story that comes from that is we turned around, walked down the mountain, went and eat breakfast. So we got a hotel room. Got back to the hotel room. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to relax. I'm not doing nothing. I'm going to take a shower, take a nap, and just enjoy the rest of the day. And my buddy, Eli, messages me from Lake George, New York. So this is 4 or 5 hours away. And he's like, he's working on the Lake George 12ster. And here I am about to take a shower and say I'm relaxing. And somehow he convinces me to come to Lake George and help him finish the winter Lake George 12ster. He's one of my best friends. So, of course, I'm not doing anything. I'll be right there. I'll meet you, and we'll do the east side of you finish. He's on the Tongue Mountain Range right now. He had already done Cat and Thomas. He's about to start the Tongue, and I knew that how long it would take him to do that was about my drive time. So I said, all right, I'll meet you over, and I think we did Buck first, and I did the 4 mountains on the east side. So Buck, Sleeping Beauty, Erebus, and Black, and I don't know. I like to do unconventional things.
I'd say that's about as unconventional as it comes.
And I love to help people. So I'm just like, I don't think a normal person would have said, yeah, let me go do that, even if it was to help somebody. But me, my brain, I'm just like, yeah, why not? I don't know if I can do this, but I'll drive 5 more hours. Now, mind you, I had been awake since, I don't know, maybe 2 a.m. to start the Mahoosuc. Hiked up Old Spec, came back down, ate breakfast, took a shower, drove 5 hours to Lake George, and then hiked all night long with Eli, and we finished at sunrise on Black the following day. And I think he finished it with like 8 minutes to spare.
Incredible.
So he was an animal. He was a beast. I'm pretty sure that was his first ultra, and he did fantastic. I think he might have hated me a little bit on Black because we had very little time to get up and down, and I knew, having done it before, I knew what his legs felt like, but I knew that those negative monsters inside of his head was probably telling him, this is crazy, I'm never going to make it. And I knew that that's what he was probably battling. So I was kind of a little bit like a drill sergeant on the way up. I think he might thank me now, but at that time he probably didn't like me very much. But sometimes that's what it takes.
That is what it takes sometimes. You need that kick in the pants.
Yeah. It's not even just like a drill sergeant. It's trying to make you realize that you're the only one stopping yourself right now. And you're the only one that's telling yourself that your gas tank is empty. Because you can keep going. Sometimes you just need a reminder that you can do that. And that's all I was trying to do.
So you're in Maine, you're doing this hike. It didn't work out as you wanted, so you go back home or go back to the hotel and then immediately get the phone call, hop in your car, drive 5 hours then hike all night. Yeah. You deserve a patch that says the best friend ever patch. I'm gonna get you that patch for your backpack because that is absolutely incredible.
Well, I appreciate that. I would wear it proudly, but even if he wasn't really my friend, if I was available, it's kind of something that makes me tick. I just love to help people. So if I was available and somebody said, hey, this person needs this or whatever, and yeah, and plus it was a challenge to myself, so it was like a win-win,
Sure.
And I proved to myself that I could in fact hike in Maine and drive all day and hike all night, and I could do it. And
sure, yeah,
that's all.
True.
Yeah,
you had it benefited you as well in that regard.
That's right.
And
that's right.
Eli's a buddy of mine as well. Eli, I love you, brother, but I wouldn't have done that. So that James is incredible. It's truly an incredible story of a human and how good of a friend you are. Incredible.
Yeah, love you, buddy.
So you mentioned, that was in the winter. What are the differences between winter versus summer as far as the ultra goes? Because sometimes in the winter, if you get the right day, the right conditions, a nice sunny day, the trails are all broken out. I bet the winter, just from regular hiking, can sometimes be faster than it is in the summer. As far as ultras go, what's your thought process on winter versus summer?
Absolutely. I've done some of my fastest things in the wintertime if you get those right conditions, and those right conditions being, basically sidewalk trails.
Yep.
Wearing spikes, you don't have to worry about carrying snowshoes because the trail is just rock hard. I'm a big advocate, don't it's good to wear the snowshoes even if there's not 8 inches of snow sometimes, because it's it just makes the trail nice. It makes it safer for everybody. You don't have to worry about those ankle rollers and stuff like that. So and not only that, in my opinion, I think it's easier to walk in snowshoes sometimes than it is to walk in mashed potato snow, and that is just rough. But anyway, so sorry. The Sometimes it is faster for sure in the wintertime, um, because of those trail conditions and because you don't have to worry about rocks and roots, and it's almost like a brainless walk, and you can walk as fast as you possibly can and not have to worry so much as what you're stepping on and tripping over, or what kind of wet rock it is, or a wet root. Those roots are evil, and
They
and
really are.
the wet wood is the worst. um so yeah, that was the winter can also be way more difficult, if you have to trail break, especially if you're breaking through a foot, 2 feet of snow, which I've had to do sometimes. Like a typical hike that would take 6 hours can take 12 hours sometimes, just because of the trail conditions. Or sometimes you did a hike in 8 hours in the summertime and it took you seven in the wintertime because the trail was beautiful and you could just wear spikes on your feet and just cruise right along. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has the possibility of being fast in the winter and drastically slower. And if you got a good butt slide coming down, that could speed things up very nicely as well in the wintertime.
Yeah,
What do
you
you
can. Yeah,
prefer? Like, let's say you're going to have a nice summer day or a nice winter day. You can pick. Which would you pick? Which would you prefer?
winter all day long, hands down. The
Okay.
mountain, I just, there's no bugs. There's,
God, there are no
um,
bugs. Thank God.
there's no bugs. The trails are beautiful. Even if I have to break trail, I think I would still pick winter time. Um, I don't know if I would pick breaking trail for an entire ultra per se, because that's very tough, and I don't think I've ever done that. But maybe I could.
Not
It's one of
yet.
those. It's one of those things where it's just like I don't know if I can do it, but I'm sure there's probably going to be a day down the road if things keep going the way that they are that might happen. But wintertime, it just the temperatures. I hate being really hot. It bogs me down like crazy just being warm. So the temperatures in the wintertime I really enjoy because I can, if I can always put more on if I get too cold, but you can only take so much off in the summertime, and then they start to frown upon it, right? So,
Absolutely.
so yeah. And then in my opinion, I mean, the mountains are beautiful no matter what. But the wintertime, there's just something about those snow-covered trees and just the way it brings all the features. You can see all the slides and you can see so many features about the mountains that it's breathtaking. And then you get that after that heavy snow and you're walking through just that winter wonderland, and you can get really lost in it. If you let yourself, you get really lost in there, and it's a beautiful place. So the wintertime, I mean, fall has its place because of all the colors,
Hmm.
but wintertime, hands down.
So when you're actually doing these ultras, you're going for a certain amount of time. You want to be as fast as possible. How long do you tend to stay on the summits? Would you say? Because sometimes you're on, 6, 9, 12 different summits in a day. How long do you tend to stay up there?
Um, I don't. I guess it depends on what group you're with, obviously, but um, I just I like to sit up there. I don't like to tag summits and run off of them.
Hmm.
Even during an ultra, some people like to do that I'm with, and that's fine. And if I'm with a group that likes to do that, I will absolutely do that. I'm not going to hold anybody up. I know that the mountains will always be there, and I've never said I'm never going to climb this mountain again. So I know that can come back there anytime that I really want to. So, but during those ultras, you obviously can't hang around on the summits unless you're Superman and you can fly. Um, you have obviously limited time. So you have to really pace yourself. The name of ultras is pacing yourself. Don't burn yourself out. Don't try to kill it through the first three mountains because you're just going to be dead in the last three. The name is just find a solid pace so that you can keep moving and not be real tired. And then, you can judge how long you can sit on the summit. But I'll sit up there for 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe on a good day. Some days you don't want to be up there at all and you just want to get down and go to the next mountain. And it's okay to have those days. So I guess it really all depends. But I guess on an average, 15 minutes, I would say. And then it's time to get moving and get on to the next mountain.
So you're up there enough to enjoy it, enjoy what you
Yes.
did, take a minute, breather, eat some
Hmm.
food, and then back
Yep.
down.
That's about it. Yep.
Is there an ultra in particular that stands out in your mind that was either very specifically challenging physically, and then what was also one that was very challenging mentally for you? Like what stands out in your mind? I assume there's got to be one that stands out for both mental and physical difficulty.
So as I mentioned before, physical, hands down, probably Mahusik.
Sure.
Physically it's just a very demanding hike. It is pristine and so beautiful in there, and it really gives you there. All the mountains except for one are under 4,000 feet, but it gives you that tundra out west.
Cool.
You can see that trail along the top of the ridge line for miles, and it's just snaking its way through the tundra, and it's a really unique place that I've never seen before, and it's not like any of the other mountains that I've climbed in the Northeast. So between just the beauty, but it's so demanding. So I think the Mahusik physically for sure, and then mentally. Gosh, the Niner is tough, as far as getting out of your car 9 times. But I think just one step above that is going to be that blue challenge. And that was just because it took us 36 hours of straight hiking. It's one extra mountain. It's a little bit more driving. And I think anytime you start getting up to that, having to get out of your car more than 5 or 6 times, it just starts to become mentally taxing. And if you haven't done stuff like that before, your first couple of them, you're gonna be going through battles in your head that you you, you have to try to win. Otherwise, you're gonna probably be putting your seatbelt on and heading to the couch. But yeah, so I think that the 80K blue probably mentally, and I was a zombie at the end of that one, and you're just delirious, and you're basically walking on the trail hallucinating. I think somebody next to me while we were hiking our last mountain and the sun was coming up said that there was smiley faces on the rocks. So I mean, you do get to that point, and I think that that's normal because I've felt that before, but I didn't know if other people felt like that. But then, as I've done them more, people have told me, they've admitted to being delirious and seeing things, and it's almost like you start to sleepwalk. Um, I'm not saying don't be safe out there and get yourself in a situation to where you're gonna be in a dangerous spot. Um, try to at least if you're gonna I wouldn't suggest doing ultras by yourself unless you know your capabilities, unless you know that you can do that kind of thing, you know your limits, and try them with a couple people at first so where you guys can look out